First on 11 Alive, Metro Atlanta preparing to say goodbye to 2022, and that will culminate with the return of the Peach Drop. We'll have a live preview coming up. And from the Peach Drop to the Peach Bowl, just a couple hours to go before the Dogs and the Buckeyes meet up in the college football national semifinal. We're live inside the bins with a preview.
11 Alive News at 6 p.m. starts now.
Before we get to those stories, we do want to check in real fast with meteorologist Nicole Hartford. Nicole, it was a rough start to this Saturday, but things didn't turn out too bad this afternoon.
No, it turned into a pretty nice day. The rainfall has come to an end just in time. That steady plume of moisture that we've been bringing in from the Gulf of Mexico is now drawn towards the south of us. So while there are still a couple spotty showers out towards portions of our eastern counties, we're only seeing cloud cover for much of our area. And even that, there's already breaks in the clouds. Right now, temperatures are at a comfortable 61 in Atlanta. We've got a light breeze out of the southwest at about 5 miles per hour. By the time you're waking up tomorrow morning, temperatures will be falling into the low to mid 50s. So we'll stay mild overnight tonight. It's really not going to be that cold, only 50 degrees in Atlanta by tomorrow morning. As temperatures fall and with the rising humidity, I'm sure that you've noticed a little increase in the mugginess outside today. That's going to lead to areas of widespread fog tonight. In some spots, we'll already have visibility down to less than a quarter of a mile by midnight. So for those of you out celebrating the new year, if you are going to be on the roads late tonight, you definitely need to take it slower and drive really cautious with the fog. By tomorrow morning, fog will likely be widespread. I do anticipate that the National Weather Service will likely end up issuing a dense fog advisory. This will lift into tomorrow, though. We've got a couple great days before rainfall returns.
Nicole, we'll see you back in a couple of minutes. Well, it's just past 6 p.m. Eastern time and just past midnight in Paris. And check this out. The fireworks are going off. This is the celebration taking place along the famous Champs-Élysées. To ensure, listen to this, everyone is safe tonight, local authorities there have stopped the sale of alcohol until Monday. And we'll have to wait a little less than 6 hours for 2023 to arrive here, but that doesn't mean there's not already a party going down in Atlanta. The return of the famous Peach Drop at midnight, along with the playing of the Peach Bowl. In just a couple of hours at Mercedes-Benz Stadium is making for plenty of excitement across downtown. We are live at both events tonight. In just a moment, we'll sit it to the bins with Maria Martin and Reggie Chapman. But we do want to start the New Year's Eve with Paola Lucero live at Underground Atlanta, where it won't be long before that Peach drops. And Paola, I don't see that mask and the hat you had on a while ago.
Well, Cody, 50 to 60,000 people are expected out here to watch that Peach Drop. I am certainly one of them. This is the first time in 3 years that people will get to see that Peach Drop, of course, because of the pandemic. And what an exciting time. Music already started, and I gotta say, we've got the best view because we got the stage right behind us. And I'm not kidding, the Peach is just a few feet away from me. So really exciting. But you know something, Cody? We were not the first ones to get here. We actually saw a lot of crowds when we started getting here. We interviewed the first 3 people that got to walk out here, and they're gonna have a pretty good view as well. Listen to what they had to say.
After the pandemic, you have to come out. Like, you have to do something, to celebrate. I feel good about this New Year's coming up, so I'm excited. I've been telling them all night, like, we're gonna do this. This is a great year that's coming up.
I just cannot wait until the new year, and this is my first time coming down here, and I'm seriously shaking because I'm just so a burst of excitement.
Now, they took a MARTA to get here tonight. They recommend you do the same to avoid traffic nightmares and the crowds. As I mentioned, Peach was not dropped since 2019 because of the pandemic, so massive crowds are expected, but also because of the Peach Bowl starting in a few hours, just minutes away from here at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So police have said they have tight security here today for those crowds tonight, both on the ground and in the air with helicopters and drones. I've actually seen countless of police officers on foot and on motorcycles already. The night just getting started out here, so we'll have a lot of fun while you guys are back in the studio, but we'll send it back to you guys. We're live here at Underground Atlanta. Paola Lucero, 11 Alive News.
And it looks like a lot of fun. Thanks so much, Paola. And if you are heading down there tonight, listen up. Remember, there's a clear bag policy in effect. This is going to stretch past the city's curfew, so if you're under 16, you must have an adult with you even after 11 o'clock. Police are also urging you to use rideshare to get down there. but just be patient. They're going to be busy. And no guns are allowed inside the Peach Drop area. So just a few reminders there tonight. Well, about 5 blocks from where Pala is right now, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium is going to be hopping tonight. That's where Georgia and Ohio State will tangle in the Peach Bowl with a trip to the national championship game on the line. We want to head out to Reggie Chapman and Maria Martin inside the Benz. Guys, I saw some friends over at the Fan Fest. There are a lot of people coming to this game tonight.
Hey, Cody, yeah, there's certainly going to be a lot of people in here, and we're ringing in the new year the only way that the sports department knows how, on the biggest stage of college football. It is set now. We've got Georgia and Ohio State in the college football playoff semifinal game. Reggie, this is as big as it gets, and stop me if you've heard this before. The teams had a great week of preparation. Both of these teams really hard at work. It looked like Ohio State was having a little bit of fun here when they walked out on the field. Kirby Smart is here. We saw his pregame walk. These two teams very familiar with this stage.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back in history, these two teams have combined for 8 college football appearances because they're two of the biggest, baddest programs in all of college football. We've got some of the best talent from across the entire country. And of course, I mean, going into the season, we probably expected this. Georgia and Ohio State being on this very stage, they're finally here. It's a really exciting day.
It is such an exciting day, and you talk about the mutual respect between these two coaches. There is so much of it, considering they've both been on this stage plenty of times. Kirby Smart trying to win another national championship. That road begins tonight, but both Ryan Day and Kirby Smart have a lot of respect for each other.
It's really about them. It's not about us as coaches. It's about the opportunity for the players to go out and play in what's going to be an incredible environment. And that's what you choose to go to Ohio State or Georgia for, is to play in games like this.
When you look at the beginning of the year, you say to yourself, okay, where are we going to see ourselves in December? And this is the exact situation we saw ourselves in. And we knew that Georgia would be right here, and they do an unbelievable job of recruiting and coaching and playing. So, you know, here we are.
Now, Cody, you talked about it when you tossed it to us, the fans. I mean, driving into the stadium, the traffic was crazy and the bars were lined with people. It's going to be really exciting.
There are already Ohio State fans leaning over the railing trying to take pictures of this field. They also are expecting a lot of crowd noise. I've got a lot more on that coming up in sports.
Sounds good. For much more on the Peach Bowl and the Peach Drop, just head over to 11alive.com. Well, this just into our 11 Alive newsroom, a crazy story out of Decatur and a sad one. A homicide investigation underway. It happened at Tires Plus along DeKalb Industrial Way this morning. DeKalb County Police tell us that a suspect, now ID'd as 30-year-old Quadrius McDowell, brought his car in for service. Well, then a Tires Plus employee identified as 24-year-old Daniel Gordon got into the car and started driving it in the parking lot. Investigators say McDowell thought Gordon was trying to steal his car and opened fire, shooting and killing Gordon. Well, one person was able to record the moment McDowell was taken into custody by DeKalb County Police. You're looking at it right now. He is charged with murder and is locked up tonight at the DeKalb County Jail. Well, new details on a story we first brought you this morning. We're now told a member of the Falcons practice squad was arrested after a fight with an Atlanta police officer. It happened around 2 a.m. on I-75 at the interchange with Northside Drive. Now, Atlanta police telling us that an officer pulled a driver over who was believed to be drunk. However, when the officer tried to arrest the driver, there was a struggle and the suspect was able to get away. After a brief search, officers were eventually able to bring that suspect into custody. The person who APD arrested was identified as 27-year-old Cameron Batson. So he had played 3 seasons as a wide receiver with the Tennessee Titans before being picked up by the Falcons this past off season. What we can tell you is Batson had been released before the season began, but remained on their practice squad. This morning, the Falcons issued a short statement simply saying they are taking this matter seriously. Batson and the officer were treated for injuries during that incident. APD says the officer was not seriously hurt. That's good news. And that Batson is now facing a slew of charges. Well, we are learning more about a 24-year-old. The name James Thomas. He's the Fulton County Sheriff's deputy who was found dead in his car earlier this week with a gunshot wound. Thomas grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, and today 11 Alive's Karis Belger spoke with a connection there who shares what made him stand out.
We're so glad that the people of Fulton County in Georgia just got to have an experience, what we experienced here in Jackson, Mississippi, with an extraordinary young man.
Keith Bankston says Fulton County Deputy James Thomas had a personality that drew people in.
He could be both. He could be the same. He's the same person in and out of uniform. That speaks volumes.
Deputy Thomas was killed early Thursday morning. Today, law enforcement agencies across the country continue to mourn his loss.
We personally recruited him from another police department down south, specifically because of the energy and his love for what he brought to our agency.
That commitment to service is something Bankston says he noticed about Deputy Thomas for years.
Straight out of high school, he went into the Army, and then after the Army, while still attending Jackson State, he went to the Jackson Police Department and became a Jackson Police Mississippi officer.
And Bankston says Thomas's open heart was his best attribute and the thing he will be remembered for most.
Servant well done. Good job. Servant well done. You served. Now go serve over there in heaven.
In Atlanta, Kara Spelger, 11 Alive News.
Ringing in the new year isn't the same for everyone. Coming up, we'll verify how traditions here in the U.S. differ from other parts of the world.